Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Again, we're in the 80s. We're in the 80s for a while here. Probably till
We are.
the end of summer. That's okay.
Well, I mean, we spent a lot of time in the 2000s and 90s. I feel like we should give the 80s some love.
Yeah. This movie, hold on, I gotta bring it up. I have not seen since the 90s, but I did watch this movie a ton. Like
Yeah.
a ton. And this movie cannot suck. This was your pick, correct?
This was my pick.
Yeah.
I also, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I also have not seen it probably since the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's been a while and I have seen it quite a few times. And I remember absolutely loving it because not only am I a Keanu Reeves fan, like deep in my heart, kind of want to marry him. And I have been forever. I'm also a history nerd. So like this movie takes two of my big loves and puts them together. And I loved it. And I thought it was really funny. And I loved all the like going back into history. And I loved this movie so much. God, I really don't want it to suck. I even remember liking the sequel.
Yeah. The Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because let me bring this up because this movie, it's such a long name. Bill and Ted's. There we go.
Excellent.
So
Adventure.
1989, Alex Winter, Keanu Reeves, George Carlin.
Yep.
This was Keanu Reeves because he didn't do a whole lot, I don't think, before. That's what I want to check before this. Like I know he did the hockey movie, not Bloodsport, Youngblood,
Probably. Hold on.
where he played a believe.
I'm joining you in
So 84, he did Hanging In TV series. He did a Coca-Cola commercial. He was a mugger in Night Heat. Youngblood, it was in 1986, was his first movie. One Step
Yeah.
Away, he did Act of Vengeance, Disneyland, Flying, Brotherhood of Justice. A lot of TV. River's Edge probably would have been.
this. Babes in Toyland. I remember him from that, which he did in 86. He did
Yes.
a lot of like smaller roles.
Yeah. River's Edge with Crispin Glover. Yeah, a lot of smaller roles.
Commercials.
So I think Kellogg's Corn
This
Flakes.
was definitely his big, because I think Dangerous Liaisons got him a little bit of
Yeah,
press.
and it wasn't a huge part.
Yeah,
And
But,
then Bill
this
and
was his-
Ted,
big break.
yeah, because it was a pretty big movie.
Yeah.
Now, it was directed by Stephen Herrick, who also did. Just want to make sure I got this right. Not a lot. Oh, that's a producer. So he did The Chaperone. He did an episode of Dallas, Jinx, Betrayal, Lucky Seven, Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors. Is this a director? Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, he did one of the Cutting Edge sequels, Fire and Ice. He did Into the Blue Part 2.
What?
Young MacGyver TV movie.
Amazing.
101 Dalmatians. Oh, he directed Mr. Holland's Opus, The Three Musketeers, the Walt Disney one with Kiefer Sutherland and
Yeah. The one that had the really great song.
Charlie Sheen,
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell. But he also did he really? Yeah. Oh, he did Rockstar with, what's her name was in it from Friends.
I believe you. He directed Man of the House.
He directed Man of the House.
Kind of love that
Mark
movie.
Wahlberg and Jennifer Aniston. Rockstar. Not that great of a movie.
No, that one isn't that one. Oh God, is that with that?
And he directed The Mighty Ducks. And he directed Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Oh, we
And he directed one of my favorite movies of all time, Critters.
Oh.
Well, I remember it being one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
so he's directed a lot of.
This podcast has taught me so much about what I remember and what.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's directed a lot of stuff I remember liking.
Yeah.
So
this could be good. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's still going to be as good as it was, and I'm choosing to believe that until I watch it.
It's like when we were doing the little blurb on the show. It was like it introduced like millions of kids to surfer dude slang, which I'm sure parents just loved.
Oh God. But
My parents didn't really care for this movie. This was not their cup of tea. Well, they didn't outright hate it, but yeah.
Look, my parents were born in their silent generation. Okay, so my dad was born in 1936 and my mom was born in 1940. So they're like movies.
Yeah,
I guess they would rather watch wrestling or hockey, where there can be blood on the floor. They're like, fight for what you want, not travel around through time.
Yeah. Okay, what do we think the budget is?
I think the budget was pretty high.
Because
30 million.
They did a lot because they were in medieval times. They were Napoleonic times.
They did a lot.
Yeah.
I want to say for 1989. Oh wait, 1989. 15 million.
10.
Oh. Is it because they didn't pay the actors very much?
I was just about to say that. They probably didn't pay. Like Keanu Reeves wasn't demanding
No.
John Wick money.
And I don't think Alex Winter
money.
Alex Winter he was probably the bigger name on this. Alex Winter and George Carlin were probably the bigger names on this.
Yeah, because I think Alex Winter, I'm not 100% sure. I think he was MTV, doing MTV stuff before this, or maybe it was after. But
he was in the Lost Boys.
And he was in the Lost Boys. Yeah. So he was probably a little more.
He was a little well known.
Yeah.
Like he was a more familiar face. George Carlin was a familiar face.
Yes.
But neither of them were I can sell a movie on your name famous.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see how it did at the box office. I think it did well because it did earn a sequel 2 years later.
I think it did absolutely phenomenal. If I remember, this was literally a great success.
Yeah, because I remember the previews on TV and wanting to watch it. I did not see this in theaters.
Nor did I.
This would have been on HBO, or most likely when it showed up on HBO, I watched it.
This would have been a City TV or CTV late night, Friday, Saturday vibe.
But once I watched it a lot. All right, so I made $40 million on a $10 million, 89, 10 million. That's
pretty good.
Yeah, they made a lot of money off this.
We also have to remember 1989.
Well, yeah, like their marketing wasn't.
Yeah.
Even if they put a few $1 million into it, you're still looking at like 20 some odd $1 million profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not bad. International, 23,000. Again, 1999. February 7th. And it came out in February.
Oh.
February 17th, 1989.
After Valentine's Day, so it wasn't even like gaggles of girls being like, we want to watch cute boys.
So it opened at third place.
Okay.
Behind The Burbs.
Okay. Yeah.
Rain Man.
Oh, well.
But ahead of Three Fugitive, which I believe was Nick Nolte and Martin Short.
I have never seen that.
The Fly Part 2.
I have
Beaches.
seen that. Beaches.
Cousins. Cousins.
Is that with?
Two couples go to a mutual friend's wedding and end up swapping partners. Oh,
That's
nice.
fucking weird. That makes me uncomfortable.
They were Southern cousins.
Especially if you're calling it cousins. Dangerous liaisons.
At 8th place, True Believer and Working Girl at number 10.
Oh, Working Girl. I love that movie.
Now, someone knew because like it opened up at almost 1,200 theaters.
Okay,
yeah, Working Girl was huge. Was it
Working
not?
Girl was so huge.
Yeah.
And then Twins is at number 12.
At number 12, yeah. So as it went along, it went to third the next weekend. Then it jumped up to second, fifth, eighth, ninth, fifth, ninth, and 12th. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Looks like Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Bumped up.
So yeah, it made some money.
Right on. It's fantastic for them. I'm happy.
Before we go any further, do some. Oh, god damn this. Oh, okay. All right, head in. I was gonna say,
You okay?
God damn this. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Typing it every time. All right. Let's do some taglines. History is about to be rewritten by two guys who can't spell.
Actually, I really like that.
Yeah.
Really like that.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, but cliche.
Party on, dudes.
That does not count.
Brace yourself, amigos, for a most triumphant video. Oh, that was for the VHS release.
Yeah.
The funniest comedy in the history of history.
I mean, bold claim, but I wouldn't call it a great tagline. Also, Monty Python would want to have words with you.
Yeah. I just read a thing on Monty Python that they almost didn't get The Life of Brian made. No one would do it.
Makes
Every
sense.
studio canceled. Every studio said no. And then one of them, I think John Cleese, or what's the other guy? Anyways, they were friends with George Harrison of the Beatles. Gave him the script, and George Harrison called him and said, "This is the funniest thing I'll give you the money. How much do you need?" He said like millions, and he said 2 million or something like that. And he said, "Okay, I'll give it to you. I want to see this."
Can you imagine having that much money that you read a script? You're like, I want to see this.
I want to see you guys actually
go.
act this out. Can you please? Here's $2 million. Can you go please make this movie? I need to see this.
We'll set up a projector at my house. We'll watch it there.
Yeah. Even if no one else wants to watch it, I want to watch it.
It's good.
Yeah. All right, let's share, and we will. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it probably got better reviews than you'd think.
I think people really liked it.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember it being bad or cheesy. I kind of remember it being very smart. God, I really want it to be good.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is up there with like E.T. and The Goonies. And
yeah. I'm so afraid to rewatch The Goonies. So afraid. I'm like, no, but you're magical. I don't want you to not be magical.
Oh.
What?
At 58 reviews, it comes in at 83%.
That's fantastic.
Need that sound that they made with their guitars. 250,000 audience members give it 75%.
Also amazing.
Yeah. So it did well. This was your pick. You will do the good. And I will do the bad. Shouldn't have any problem for finding the good.
Not at all. I've already found several. So, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure has a supremely silly story that some may deem dated, but its classic charms and Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves' pitch-perfect performances are still just as entertaining as ever. Zoe Rose Bryant, loud and clear reviews. Her original score was 4 out of 5, and she scored it in 2022.
2014 from Carrie Rickey from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Though its one-liners elicit the occasional chortle. When Bill and Ted don medieval armor, there's an obligatory heavy metal joke. The film doesn't engage because its heroes don't engage with the historical characters. 1.5 out of 4. Seems like you're being a little picky. That's just me.
Yeah. Oh, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is tons of fun because its sense of ridiculousness never goes too far as to be absurd, a crime of which its sequel is guilty. Shut up, Jen Roner from Battleship Pretension. nose rating.
Chris William from the LA Times says, make no mistake, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is not a satire of mindlessness. It's unabashed glorification of dumbness for dumbness' sake.
Wow. That hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
A total joy. Bill and Ted are so cartoonish. When they have a bright idea, I half expect to see fizzing light bulbs on their heads. But their relationship is touching and very human, and it turns out we were all pronouncing Socrates wrong. Sarah Cartland's caution spoilers. Original score 4 out of 5.
Whether you enjoy this piece of fluff in the Wayne's World mold, although not as funny, depends on whether you can stomach early 1990s American teenager subculture and its lingo. 2 out of 4, James O'Haley, sci-fi movie page.
Wow.
Hmm.
A spectacularly stupid slacker comedy that actually gets better as it goes along, if only because the ungainly chemistry of the two leads really does grow on you. That's Lee Patch from Herald Sun, Australia. Original score 3 out of 5.
The humor is light and lightheaded, so much so that you'd have to say it's a stoner movie with no pot. Original score 6 out of 10, James Plath movie Metropolis.
This is a spirited doofus comedy sustained by the sweet, slack-jawed performances of Reeves and Winter as dumbfounded idiots who stumble through time to cram for their history final. That's from Sean Axmaker from Stream On Demand.
Wow, man. And to think Keanu Reeves started here, an already outdated comedy. 2 out of 5, Steve Crum, video review master. That's it for me. I got nothing.
I will do one more. This is from Variety staff at Variety. Reeves with his beguilingly blank face and loose-limbed, happy-go-lucky physical vocabulary, and Winter with his golden curls, gleefully good vibes, and bodacious vocabulary propel this adventure as long as they can. And that's it.
Well, over at IMDb, we have 146,000 reviews coming in at 6.9. That's not bad. Really,
That's pretty good, actually.
You can start with the 10.
All right.
If I can find my reviews here. What the hell?
Excellent, heinous, awesome, righteous, dude, bogus, enhance your grammar with Bill and Ted. Movie Addict 2016, 10 out of 10.
I'm pretty sure this is what got on my dad's nerve.
Probably,
because after watching this movie like 70 times, excellent, dude, bodacious, most triumphant,
tubular, dude.
Yeah, it probably got on their nerves a lot. Let's see, 9 out of 10. Plankton rules. Don't we've had this guy before. Plankton rules. Don't discount this movie simply because it's stupid. 9 out of 10. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my god, that's fantastic. Anyone who hates this film has a sad and sorry existence. That's from Agent 10, 8 out of 10.
It's one of those films that defies logic, succeeding in spite of itself, and there's something of value in that. That is 7 out of 10 from Eminkle.
Okay. I like this. I knew the plot was going to be ridiculous. However, I did like the movie a little bit. SAF reviews, 6 out of 10.
Mental Critic. Enjoyable, somewhat. Well written, not on your life. 5 out of 10.
There were only 2 for 4 out of 10. One of them is from Cine Analyst, and it's intentionally stupid. The other is Nola Movie Dude, and I'm not really a fan, but yet I can't wait for the third one.
Okay, I got 3 out of 10. If I could go back in time, I'd shoot everyone who had a hand in deciding to make this film. No jury would convict me as long as we kept Gen Xers off the panel. Beaven number 4. 3 out of 10.
Wow. All Bill and Ted movies are as idiotic and brain dead juvenile as they come. Me dig flicks, 2 out of 10.
I only have 4 here for 1 out of 10, but if I had a time machine, I would kill the director of this movie. Trailer Park Boy, 1 out of 10.
So harsh.
This could be one of those where you have to be a Gen Xer.
Yeah, possibly.
Early millennial to to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're either a Gen Xer or a super elder millennial who's
Yeah.
like,
This
yeah,
was
I get
funny.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would make me sad though. I'm totally gonna make my niece watch this.
Yeah. Just I might get my kids to watch this with
Yeah.
me just to
I
see.
think my niece is Gen Z, if I'm not mistaken. When the fuck does Gen Z start?
I know my youngest is an alpha.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I hear they're gonna be like feral.
Well, I think we went so far one way that now we're going back the other way, and they're
Yeah.
kind of nuts. They're kind of like we were, like,
Yeah. I think Gen Alpha is gonna come out swinging.
yeah,
I think
like you guys
there's
are
gonna be
all
a lot of
wussies.
like,
Get out
I
of
don't
our
give a
way.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go
Yeah,
cry to
my
someone
niece
else.
is Gen Z, so I'm gonna make her watch this movie unless she already has. I'm gonna text her and be like, "Have you
I don't
watched
know
this
if
yet?"
my other kids are Gen Zs. They're 13, up in the 13
Hold on.
area.
What year were they born?
2010.
Then they would be Gen Z.
They are Gen Z. Okay, 2011. I'm sorry,
just-
I'm bad.
Well, 2011, then they're
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah, that makes sense because they say
Yeah.
things that aren't very Gen Z like.
Yeah, they're Alpha. I just made Gen X. Like it ends my year,
Yeah,
and then the millennials, Gen Y.
yeah. Because I was thinking, when I was talking to someone, like boomers were horrible parents. They just didn't.
Yeah, they were terrible.
They were terrible parents because we didn't have really. Well, your parents were a little older, and
My parents were a little older, so they're
Yeah.
the silent generation.
they were a great generation.
They lived through World War II,
Yeah, they were a great generation. Boomers,
so they knew.
they sucked. Like
They knew the hardships. Boomers, they did not know the hardships.
No, and they were very selfish, and like they had.
Yeah.
I told someone, I'm like, they had commercials on at night. Like, do you know where your kids are? You're a
Yeah.
parent. You should know where your kids are.
At like
Oh,
10
yeah,
o'clock.
we have kids.
10 o'clock at night, that ad would play, and they'd
Yeah.
be like,
We
you
were
have
told-
to remind people to look for their children?
Yeah, we were told. Now remember, when the street light comes on, get around the yard or come inside. I'm like,
Oh,
that's
see,
great parenting.
I was told to play directly in front of our house because we also have
Yes.
a parking lot across
Yeah.
the street for the grocery store. So we used to call that, because it used to be called a Food City. So we called that Food City Park because that's where all the kids on the street would play. So they would play sports and whatever. So that's where you would play, but directly in front of the house, so that when dinner was ready, my mom would open the door and she'd be like, "Hey," and that was it. You ran in.
Yeah.
If you took
see,
too long, you got a beating.
I remember like being like, when the light comes on, it's time to come home.
Mm.
And then you just went off and did whatever mischievous thing that you. Thank God we didn't have cell phones and internet.
Oh, can I tell you how
My
many
God.
times I'm so thankful we didn't have social media?
Oh, it would have been horrible. We would have been
And
horrible.
literally until my late 20s, because I think I signed up for Facebook in like 2007. Like before that, you had MySpace or,
Yeah.
ICQ doesn't even really count, but like there was also like smaller sites, but not like it is now where it's like worldwide and everybody has access. And oh God, I could never. The things I did,
Oh yeah.
the things
Sure.
I did. We're going to stop talking about this before I
All
start
right.
telling really embarrassing stories.
I have 2 trailers here. Official trailer number 1. Okay, yes. No, this is it. Okay, so I'm very excited. I'm very
Please be
worried.
good. Please be
Yeah.
good.
Trailer should help. The reviews, I feel a
Yeah.
lot better after the reviews.
Me too.
And
Me too.
the IMDb ones kind of seem to be people that aren't Gen Xers. So this, like, it might be a Gen X thing. Oh well.
I hope so.
It's really, I only care if I like it. All right. Where are you? There you are.
Now, a motion picture so grand, so magnificent, and so vast, it spans 7,000 years.
No way. Yes way.
But it starts with Bill
I'm Bill S. Preston.
who was Joan of Arc, and Ted,
Noah's wife. We're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow.
a force from the future,
Can we go anywhere we want at any time?
You can do anything you want.
is putting history at their fingertips.
Let's reach out and touch someone.
They're traveling through time.
How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes? Put them in the Iron Maiden. Excellent. Execute them. Bogus. Stick going, dude.
Specklé, thé au lait.
And they're making a big impression.
Historical babes.
Now they're home
Buddy, get together. Remember who your buddy is.
to trash the 20th century.
We got a live one here.
Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Napoleon,
We're from history.
Billy the Kid, Joan of Arc, Sigmund Freud,
Tell me about your mother.
You a musician?
Beethoven,
Genghis Khan!
Abraham Lincoln,
Party on, dudes!
Socrates, George Carlin,
We're history. If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes!
Bill and Ted's
Excellent! Excellent!
Excellent Adventure.
Party on, dude.
The 69 took me out.
Yeah. It looks cheesy. Actually, the special effects don't look that bad.
No.
Considering it's from 1989 and you saw the Napoleon medieval, you saw the
Yeah.
Western for 10 million. They
If
look
you
like they did a pretty
remember-
good job.
Yeah, if you remember 1989 and 10 million, you're like, they did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
No,
watch
yeah.
it.
It looks
I have a
it looks-
feeling there's going to be a lot of like eye rolling laughing where you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't believe that.
Yeah, I can't believe I thought that was funny. But overall, and I remember the stepmom part because he's like, your stepmom's hot. But she went to high school with them or
Yeah.
she graduated the year, something like that. I remember that being funny. And I remember that joke continues off into Bogus Adventure. But yeah, I remember the dads too being recognizable.
Trying to remember.
But yeah, I think I'm going to like it.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Just
it'll
watching
hit me.
that trailer, the nostalgia is,
I think the
huge.
cheese factor is going to be high.
yeah, the cheese factor's definitely going to be high.
100. I think it's going to be high, but I think I'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Because I remember one scene where they bring everyone back. I know they perform it in front of the school, and I
Yeah.
remember Napoleon sets up this big thing where he's invading, and then one of them says, "It looks good, but I don't think it's really going to work." And he's like, "No," and then he just throws the whole table, like flips the whole table over or something. Like Napoleon's a bit of a bitch.
I did hear Napoleon was dramatic.
Yeah,
Like he was not pleased if you disagreed with him.
yeah. No, this is what it's gonna be a fun watch, and I hope it's still good. The trailer looks fine. The reviews are very encouraging.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like this movie. So our streak hopefully will continue.
Hopefully, yes.
Because if this is where it ends on this movie, I'm going to be very sad.
What's the movie after this one?
Explorers,
Oh,
1985's Explorers, from the
I
guy
think
who
it might
brought
end after
us
this one.
Gremlins.
I feel like it might end after this one.
Could.
Because I remember loving Explorers. I think I'm like 98% sure.
I
feel
know
like
we've
watched
got
Explorers when
I
was
know we
younger.
got a bunch of 80s coming up, and I think
Yeah.
our driving's coming up in August. I'm sure it'll come to an end. If not, I'm pretty sure Halloween will bring
Oh God, yeah.
or
Right.
Christmas.
The streak will end. Christmas.
It-
We've had some like terrors.
Yeah, we've had some
For Christmas.
horrifying. Yeah.
We really need to do better for our Christmas movies.
Yeah. Yeah, we really do. All right. Well, we think we're gonna like it. I really hope we're gonna like it. We are gonna go watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And when we come back, we are going to review it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Yay! Welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Did you watch 1989's Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure?
I did indeed.
I did, and I just want to say, so these two, through their music and their wisdom,
Yes.
let me get us back to track here every time. Fuck. Through their music and their wisdom, create this utopia. Now that utopia is created. What's the politically correct term for retarded? Intellectually disabled. No, intellectually. Fuck. I think I'm one of them.
Well, no, it depends. Okay, because the R slur was all encompassing. They used that for a lot of different things. So is it someone who's developmentally delayed, just not intelligent?
That's it. Developmentally delayed.
Okay.
And two homophobes. I forgot about that part.
I was like, oh, we've got a slur.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet. And then it flooded back to me how many times, if anyone explained any emotion on the playground, a work job, you were called a fag.
That was toxic masculinity, my friend.
Yeah.
That's the patriarchy. Fight against it.
Don't fight against it.
Fight against the patriarchy, yes, because that means you can't cry without being called a slur.
That's that you should. Maybe not that slur, but you should be called something. No, they caught me right off guard. I forgot all about it. And it was it had a lot of oomph into it. And it tracked the people when they went into the future. It was very pastel, very gray, very Nazi-ish. They had everything but the swastikas on. I'm like, Bill and Ted are Nazis.
That's quite the jump.
What is your impressions of the movie?
I still really liked it, which I didn't laugh as much as I thought I would, but it was still it was still enjoyable. It was still engaging.
Yeah, super entertaining.
Yeah. So like from the jump, I'm like, man, these guys are fools. And you just kind of follow them. And then every conversation, every choice that they make, all of it, you're just like, this is fantastic. What's next? Where are they going? What's happening? And for some reason, I remember Rufus traveling with them. He did not, in fact, travel with them.
I wrote that down. Actually, I think I put it in the little chat thing here.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking of Bogus Journey, where he is actually a pivotal part of the movie.
Okay.
And that's I would the same. I thought George Carlin was in this a lot more.
I'm totally gonna watch Bogus Journey after this.
Yeah, because it was good. I remember it being good.
We remember a lot of things incorrectly, apparently. But thankfully, I remembered that. Like I was super into. Like I was more than halfway through the movie before I was like, hey, how far are we in? And I was like, oh, we're already over halfway in. That went quick. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah. And the only thing my only complaint, well, there's a couple complaints, but they should have had a couple more people that spoke like them, because they seem to be the only two idiots in San Dimas.
Correct. All they needed was
everyone
a
else.
Friend
just a couple,
skateboard.
Sure.
Party
on, dude. Party on.
Dudes, party on, dudes. Be excellent. Like, all you needed was a little bit of that, and you're like, okay, like it's a thing. It's not. They're not the only two doofuses in all of San Dimas.
And then there were a lot of the stepmom. That did make me laugh. There were a couple parts that made me laugh.
There was one where it was like, remember when she was a senior and we were freshmen, and you asked her to prom.
Shut up, Ted. And then
and you asked her to prom. Shut up, Ted.
That
was fun. That was honestly the mom jokes.
Yeah, they were great.
Because it kept going, your mom's here. Your mom's here. And that mom is only 4 years older than them.
And he'd call her Missy, and she's like, oh, sorry, mom.
And then when she mentioned the history, say hi for me.
Yeah.
I was like, Missy.
Oh, when
Messy.
And then when they're like in the bedroom and the dad's like, "Here's some money. Why don't you guys go take a
Yeah,
break?"
go take a dinner break.
And then they're not leaving Bill's. Is it Bill or Ted? Bill. They're not leaving Bill's room. They're closing the.
No, they close the door.
Yeah.
And Ted's like,
They're totally doing
they're
it.
totally gonna do it in your room.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
gross.
the mom/stepmom jokes, top
They
tier.
were they were
Because it was
great.
just so like conversational. It wasn't even like Ted is trying to crack a joke. It's literally just like, hey, remember this?
Yeah.
Hey, remember? And I'm like, those are just top tier. I'm like, yes, mom, but also weird, gross.
No, it's I don't know how much someone that wasn't around that time or even just after that time and found it a little later. I don't know if someone that is now 20 or 15
Yeah.
or 14. I did not get to see this with my kids. Correction, I did not get to see this with my older kids. I did, however, watch it with my 7-year-old who thought she was in and out a couple times, but
Yeah,
found it quite funny and entertaining.
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
she
yeah, no,
also-
you'd hear a lot. Like, it was funny because I was like, well, that feels very grooming-esque
yeah.
when you find out like how close Bill is in age to his stepmom, or just mom, as he's been informed that he should call her. But then eventually, like, she starts like saying some stuff, and I was like, wait, were you groomed or were you doing the grooming? And then it's
Yeah,
like
I think she
the
has some
dad
daddy issues.
the dad is totally enamored with her and just like
Oh.
staring at her ass as she's handing out sandwiches.
Yeah.
Burnt grilled cheese
to a
sandwiches.
crisp.
Like they were black on I was like, is that a chocolate covered sandwich? And I
Yeah,
was like,
no.
no, that's just burnt.
That's
And I
a
was
burnt
like,
grilled cheese.
and the guys just totally take them. Billy
Yeah.
Ted are just like, yeah, sandwiches. We're gonna
She's
have some, man."
trying.
She's
really
trying.
trying.
She's trying. She's trying to mom it up.
And
You
she's
know?
being like trying to teach responsibility. Like he's like, "Can you drive us to the mall?" And she's like, "I'm not driving you anywhere until you do your chores."
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then
The other thing
figures do it.
I really did like about this movie and what really helped was the history actor, the people who played the people from
Yes.
history were very committed
Oh,
to
God, yeah.
like they played it very well.
I like that all of them didn't speak English with an accent.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, except for Sigmund Freud, who did speak English with an accent. I actually went to his house. His house is now a museum from in London. So I went into his house and laid down on a couch that was there. I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this. This couch probably has been cleaned in like 20 years, but whatever. Took a selfie. But yeah, no, I loved it that Socrates did not speak English.
Yeah, nothing.
Napoleon did not speak English. It's like
Napoleon was my favorite of the. I like Socrates, but Napoleon was
the water slide,
and it was my daughter's favorite. Yeah, the water slide. She just started giggling. She's like, "He's being rude," and then he keeps going down and having fun, and she started laughing and all that. And actually, the cavemen, their reaction was priceless. No,
there's a lot of goodness in this. Like, there's some parts where you're like, well, that could have been done better, or maybe this went on for too long, or there are too many historical figures.
Yeah,
because don't get me wrong, I like all the historical figures, but I was like, I feel like we're on the train to get them for too long.
Yeah,
just a smidge too long.
I'm pretty sure Genghis Khan was just about to commit sexual assault before he got taken away in the phone
on one of his many wives.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a reason why. What's the percentage? There's a crazy percent of people who are genetically related to Genghis Khan because
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the number is astronomical.
Yeah, he had many wives, and he spread his seed far and wide.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really clever. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here where they're little things where you're just like, okay, you're getting like what's reported about the historical figures. You're getting like a little nugget of who they are. So like Genghis Khan was a big old hoe. Like he was raping and pillaging all over the place, taking many wives, spreading his seed. And you see that he was also very big on eating a lot.
Yeah.
So he was a very gluttonous kind of person. So it was really interesting to see, and I really enjoyed it.
I did think of you when they were in Greece and Socrates and Bill or Ted was talking about the sands. And he was like, "Oh, like the sands of time." I'm like, "Oh,
And he's
that's a
like
soap
sands through
opera."
the hourglass. These are the
Yeah.
days of our lives. And I was
These
like,
are the
oh
days of
my
our lives.
God. They use the actual line because that's literally in the theme or the opening of Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
They literally say, like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. And then the music starts up, and then you see all the pictures of the actors. But when he said that, I was like, yes, Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, this movie is totally stupid. It is silly,
100%.
but it is fun. It was
It's
a
a
fun
fun
movie.
movie.
Yeah. All right, let's go through this movie. That's quite large, actually. Okay, and yes, I really did think George Carlin was in this. If you're remembering this movie and you go to watch this movie, George Carlin is not in it
There's not
lot
much of
at
him.
all. No. All right, in 2688, it's a while from now, humanity exists as a utopian society due to the inspiration of the music and philosophy of, here it is, two homophobes and idiots. No, it doesn't say that. The two great ones, William Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan. One of the citizens, Rufus, is tasked by the leaders to travel back to San Dimas, California in 1988 using a phone booth shaped time machine to ensure the young Bill and Ted, two dim-witted high school students, successfully pass history class. So we get what is his name? Rufus.
Yes.
He does a little voiceover about the two, and he's got to go back and for someone that's supposed to go back and help them, he doesn't really help them. Actually, he doesn't help them at all. He just like gives them the fucking
No, literally all he
machine.
does is like, here's the time machine. Go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'll see you back here later. Like that's it. That's
And
it.
the phone booth kind of dates it. It's
100%.
but it is cool. I mean, it wouldn't have been as funny and fun if it was a cell phone.
Well, but here's the great part about that. As a Doctor Who fan,
I was gonna say the TARDIS.
the TARDIS is stuck as a police box, which I think there's one still in London, maybe two, but they are not used anymore. But because I don't think they're prevalent anymore. So that's also a dated concept, but you're just like, oh, but time machine.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, cool. So I think this, because Doctor Who is still very, very popular, I think young people who are watching this are not going to be like, the fuck is that?
Yeah. Yeah. They'll know what
Yeah.
And they were smart. I will say this: in the future, the filmmakers, probably budget constraints, were very smart to leave it fairly
to that
basic.
one room.
Yeah, to that one room.
One room. Those mostly just three people, except for that scene where everybody pops out.
Yeah.
So you don't have like a bustling utopian society that you have to set up, basically.
And then we meet Bill and Ted in history class, and they're trying, and the teacher is asking them questions, and they're it was Joan of Arc, and he's like, Noah's wife.
Noah's wife.
And then he calls them over when they're leaving, and he's like, you guys, you have to pass that. You got to do something really good for this.
Yeah. Your presentation has to be amazing or you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude.
And then we get them making a music video, which we learn quickly that they don't even know how to play the instruments.
They don't know how to play the instruments, but that's why they want to get Eddie Van Halen to play guitar for them.
Yeah, we get that Abbott Costello.
You get the circular logic where it's like a catch-22. You can't get Eddie Van Halen without a killer music video, but you can't get a killer music video without Eddie Van Halen. And then they're like, man.
Yeah.
This is hard.
And it's not resolved.
No, they just go around in circles and then they're like, oh, we're going to be late for school. That's it.
The boys are on the brink of failing the course out of school, and their only hope of passing is if they get a perfect score on their final history report, in which they must give an oral presentation on how historical figures would view the present Sam Dimas. If they fail, Ted's disagreeable father, Police Captain Logan, plans to ship Ted to a military school in Alaska, ending Bill and Ted's fledgling band, the Wild Stallions, and altering history. Yeah, so we get to meet each father and stepmom.
Yes. So you get to meet Missy,
Yeah,
mom, as she
mom.
prefers to be called,
Yeah.
as she picks them up in her convertible after school. And you get to meet Ted's dad, who has got a serious stick up his ass.
Yeah.
I was like, "You're really uptight, sir." Like Ted just walks in the door and he's like, "I spoke to your principal. You're flunking. And if you do, go to military school in Alaska." It's like, "Oh, Jesus."
I think that was a common thing back in the day, getting threatened to be sent to military school.
Military school was um definitely a threat that was used for out of control kids.
Yeah.
Um
And from what I remember, or have been, what I remember is that military school back in the 80s, maybe not as tough as the 60s or 70s, but compared to today, was not pleasant.
well, no,
Like,
because
you worked.
look,
You
in the 80s, they got away with a lot of stuff they would not get away with now.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because a lot of the parents, and we're going back to it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah. Yeah, the parents sucked.
A lot of the parents were like, "Here you go. I'm going to drop off my kid here. I'll see you on Parents' Day in 3 months."
Yeah.
Well, they don't know the day to day.
This was
Now
you got beat at school, and then you got beat at home because you did something bad at school.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's more like, "Oh, no, no, no. I went into the camera feed, or I remotely turned on the camera on your phone so I could see what you were doing in class."
Yeah,
That's
not
what
creepy.
parents are like now, which is so fucking weird.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Well, you were sharing your location, and where did you stop after school? "I got a bottle of water." "Why are you yelling?"
Yeah, I've done that to my kids. Yeah, they said they didn't go to the Circle K. I'm like, I know, I look, and I showed them. I'm like, that's those dots. That's fucking you. They think that it's weird because they think we're really dumb.
They assume that
They
you're
just assume yeah.
Here's the thing, because I'm sure they have friends whose parents are not technologically savvy,
Yeah.
and then you wanna kinda sit them down and be like, "No, you don't understand. We were there when the technology started.
Yeah.
We figured it out with the technology people.
Yeah.
So we know more."
Yeah, we invented the technology. Not me personally.
No,
but
not me personally either. I wrote a cute little code that had a little woman on a stage and the curtains went back. That's what I did in coding class.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
More than I could do. Rufus finds the duo at the Circle K. Hey, that's
Oh.
funny. We have Circle K's here now. Struggling to finish their report. Rufus offers help before another phone booth time machine arrives and future versions of Bill and Ted step out. After assuring the present day Bill and Ted's that Rufus' claims are valid and that they can trust him, they disappear in the time booth. Yeah, that's like, what number are we thinking? Like 69. I mean, ha ha ha.
And I'm like, "You're a teenage boy. Of course you're thinking of 69." Also, this is where we get this line because I've started hearing it again. And I'm like, "Where's that from?" Because I know that line. Where's that from? But I've been seeing it like on TikTok and on Instagram. People have been using it like strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Mm,
It's popped up into pop culture again.
yeah.
And I don't know if it's in the newest Bill and Ted movie and that's why it's popped back up, but I was like, "Shit, that's right. This is where that's from." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Of course I recognized it." But it settled something in my brain because for the last little while, where is that line from? And now I know. So anyways, just thought I'd share that good news with everybody.
Rufus shows Bill and Ted how to operate the time booth, taking them back to 1805, where they find Napoleon Bonaparte, leading his forces against Austria. As Rufus, Bill, and Ted return to the present, Napoleon gets thrown by a cannonball explosion into their wake and gets dragged through the circuits of time along with them.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Rufus explains that time will progress normally for Bill and Ted, and they cannot miss their class presentation the next day. He
Mhm.
then departs, leaving. That was actually pretty smart. You don't see that a lot in time.
Yeah.
Like, you can go back, but you are still part of this time.
The time is still rolling.
Yeah.
So whatever your watch says, that's San Dimas time.
Yeah.
So
And that's
you've gotta
why he
follow
reminds
that.
himself to not to forget to
Well,
wind his
it's funny
watch.
because you see when Bill and Ted meet Bill and Ted in the Circle K parking lot, and Ted says, "Don't forget to wind your watch." And they're like, "Okay," like random. And it's because he forgot to wind his watch.
Yeah.
God bless.
They cannot miss their class presentation next day. He then departs, leaving the empty time booth for them. As they discuss where to go next, they discover Napoleon stuck in a nearby tree, inspiring them to abduct historical figures and take them to the present for their school presentation. They leave Napoleon with Ted's younger brother, Deacon, and ask him to take Napoleon out of town before they go. Out and about town, I'm guessing that's what they mean. So now they go back. They befriend Billy the Kid in the Wild West and Socrates in ancient Greece before stopping in 15th century England, where so we get to go see Billy the Kid. They have that. That was actually pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
They're happy to get the beers because they didn't get carded.
They're like, I'm going to remember this place.
Yeah. And then they get their head thrown through the wall and it's into the ladies' room. The change room.
The change room for the bordello ladies.
The bordello ladies, yeah. All because Billy the Kid gets them to help them in a poker game where he's cheating everybody. Then they go to Greece. That was the funny part with the Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
And him not being able to speak English was actually quite smart on the movie's part. Yeah. So now they go to England where they fall in love with Princesses Joanna and Elizabeth. Their father, who tries to have them executed, but Billy and Socrates help them escape. Okay, so a little bit missed there. Yeah, so they go and they see the two princesses and they're saying that they're being married off. And then they're going, the
royal old dudes.
The royal ugly dudes. But when they they got the suit of armor on.
Yes.
And then they're fighting, and then because they're playing Star Wars,
of course.
Luke, I'm your father, and they're fighting, and Ted rolls down the stairs, and then Bill chases after him, and the guards are there, and they stab the suit of armor.
The suit of armor, yeah.
Which Ted is not in because he fell out of
the suit.
I'm like, how the fuck did he do that?
Don't ask questions.
No, you can't ask questions.
This is not the movie for questions.
No.
No. So they did that, and then Bill has a moment. Where his friend is killed, and he must avenge him.
Yeah, and I'm like, was I sad when I watched this? Was I this fucking stupid? Was I crying?
Pretty sure I wasn't. Because I sure as hell wasn't now. Because I'm like, he's not in the suit.
Yeah, I fell out of the suit. And then they realize that he's not in the suit, and then they're like, the father walks in with the ugly dudes that are supposed to be marrying the girls.
Yeah.
How do they get out of that? They're going to get their heads chopped off.
Yes, but then they're saved by Billy the Kid and Socrates.
And then I'm like, what fucking adventure did they have for the last 5 minutes that they were able to dress up as executioners? I'm like, this is so dumb. You're right. Don't ask. This is not that movie.
This is not the movie for questions.
Yeah. And it's not pretending to be. It's not to pretend, hey, we're a smart movie over here. Come watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
So true. So true.
So yes, and then they escape. They get into the booth. The booth is slightly damaged by an attacking knight. Yeah, with the what is that thing that he was swinging around?
A mace.
The mace. Yeah. Yep. As soon as you said it.
Don't ask me why I know these things.
Yeah, slightly damaged by attacking knight. It takes them to 2688. Yeah. Oh, and this is where we get the slur. There weren't a lot of slurs in this. Actually, this might have been the only one.
I think this was the only one. I didn't pick up on any others.
For 1989 to about 2008, it was pretty.
It was a slur playground.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But this, like calling someone a fag because they hugged you, or, hey, I think that puppy's kind of cute. Sure you do. That was quite common back in the day. But other than that, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just came out of nowhere and smacked me in the face. I'm like,
this is probably one of the least offensive 80s movies.
Oh, that we watched? Yeah.
That we've ever watched.
Yeah. Because even like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah, mad
Weekend at
offensive.
Bernie's. Yeah, there
Mad
was
offensive.
a lot of offensive stuff. Still
Yeah.
fun movies. Did we like those
Now Weekend
movies?
at Bernie. I didn't really like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah.
And Bernie's was crap for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I still in my mind, I'm like, I could watch those again. Till halfway through, and I'm like, fuck, I knew I hated this movie.
That's fantastic.
So they get to 2688, where they discover that society reveres them and their future band. They're inspired to complete the report with an extra credit by abducting Sigmund Freud, Ludwig van Beethoven, Joan of Arc, Genghis Khan, and Abraham Lincoln. After a brief stop in the prehistoric times to repair the booth, that was gross. The gum.
Yeah.
To repair it, they all chewed gum and they're
all
just handing
chewing
it to
gum,
each other.
But also the scene of them all just sitting there and like Ted handing out little tins of chocolate pudding to them.
I forgot about, and that's going way back. But as a little kid, I remember they were tins, and you.
Oh yeah,
back
see, my mom made our chocolate pudding.
Oh,
so we didn't have the little tins.
Yeah, my mom didn't do it. This was at like an aunt and uncle's house, but yeah, and you could probably lick the tin. You probably cut your tongue.
Oh, 100%. Give yourself tetanus. 100%.
But I'm like, I forgot the pudding came in a tin. And then I'm like, oh, I missed the 80s. Where are we here? Yeah. Then they were taken off, and that look the prehistoric cavemen gave was priceless. Okay, so they convinced their earlier selves of Rufus' trustworthiness before he explained. Oh, sorry. After a brief stop in prehistoric time, present, but end up outside Circle K the night before, where Rufus first introduced himself. They convinced their earlier selves of Rufus' trustworthiness before he explains how to get to the next day. He further warns them that they have 2 hours left before their history report. They ended up at the wrong time, and they thought they had so much time because Ted forgot to wind his watch.
And that's where he reminds other Ted to wind his watch.
So the movie's kind of a little smart. Not a lot of
smart. It is. No, not a lot of smart.
But a little smart.
There's a little bit of smart, yeah. They're not bad. They're not bad.
When they arrive at the current time, they leave the historical figure. Oh, and in the meantime, it doesn't cover this. Napoleon's taken. My daughter howled when they went and they were eating the ice cream.
Oh my God.
And he won the Ziggy Piggy award. And they were like, my daughter fucking howled. And then anytime for that day, and maybe a day after, I was eating, she would call me, she would say, someone's a Ziggy Piggy, and she would put her finger up to make a little piggy nose and go, I'm like, you little bitch.
That's fantastic.
As I'm judging myself for having another snack. I am being a Ziggy Piggy.
And deal with it.
They leave the historical figures at the mall. Yes. So they leave the historical figures at the mall, and they're like, if you were Napoleon, where would you go? And then we get the water park.
Yes.
The water park. I think that's our first montage, because there's like 2 or 3 of them right in a row.
Yes. So you get the water park montage,
which was kind of funny.
Then you get some mall montages.
Then you get some mall montages. So
they show you where the various historical people are within the mall. Joan of Arc pushes an aerobics instructor out of the way to teach aerobics.
Beethoven goes nuts on the music store.
Synthesizers and organs, like he's in there going at it.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, Genghis Khan is in the sports store, like going nuts. So you get to see like there are various montages of just
Billy Kid's just running around the mall shooting off his 6-shooter. And that mall had a plethora of security guards. My God, how much?
And then everybody got escorted out.
Yes, yeah, they chased Billy the Kid and Socrates onto the rink. So that was our second montage. After learning that Deacon has abandoned Napoleon at the bowling alley. Oh, the bowling, yeah, where he cheated.
Yes,
yeah, he cheated at bowling. That's where my also 7-year like that
was
rude.
So funny. He was just writing it, and you're like, oh my God, it's on like a projector transparency thing, and oh shit.
Bill and Ted track him to a local water park. Back at the mall, the historical figures become fascinated but also overwhelmed by San Demias culture and are soon arrested for inadvertently causing mayhem. Captain Logan, determined to break up Bill and Ted's friendship, refused to release their historical figures and orders Ted to start packing up for military school. The boys execute an escape plan based on using this was actually kind of smart too, using the time
Yes.
booth in the future to set up what they need in the present. So everything they needed, they said, we got to remember to do this, and then it would happen. So that was kind of cool too. They break their historical friends out of jail, then present each to the assembled school using stage lighting effects and rousing music. The report earns a standing ovation, and they pass the course. This was another montage of all the different historical figures.
Yep.
I like how Sigmund Freud is talking about Ted and his father's
His dad and his father and taking out his aggression on him because of his own trauma.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa. Dad looks mad uncomfortable at the back of the theater.
Yeah. And then when they introduced each one and Socrates, I'll go back to them. I will say this, like the actors who played them really did act like not as overwhelmed as they should be, really, but they gave a bit of
there was a good amount of surprise, kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, this is new, novelty and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometime later, Rufus returns accompanied by the two princesses. So he just abducts two chicks
100%.
and just
Before they could marry the royal old fat dudes.
Yeah, and then like give them
Yeah.
to Bill and Ted.
I mean, to be
Like
fair,
it's a Muslim marriage.
the princesses did say yes to going to prom. So
Oh, that's true. They did say yes. Yeah, that's true.
they have to they were just, they got to ride with Rufus to go to prom. That's it.
So he rescued them from prearranged marriages. He says that they will also be part of Wild Stallions and that the four of them will change the world with their music. He asked to jam with them, but on hearing their fledgling attempts to play, he turns to the movie audience and assures them they do get better. And that is our movie.
It is.
Yay. What is your score for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
My score is buy at a discount. Here's why. It is fun. It is entertaining. It is engaging. You do not feel like the movie is lagging. It keeps its pace well. Young Keanu Reeves, fucking adorable. And it's a fun, light movie. Very safe for all ages, really. Other than the slurs, you may have to have a talk about slurs after that. But I mean, for reals, I was like, it was really fun, and I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed watching it. So I'm like, this is something you could totally put on like a lazy afternoon and be like, yeah, let's watch this and like laugh a little bit. Was it as funny as I remembered? No. But it was still funny. Mom jokes top tier. What's your score?
Yeah. Okay. Before that, if you IMDb, what would you give it out of 10?
Probably give it a 6.5, 7.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's solid. It's not amazing. It's not life-changing. This is not a movie that you ask questions about. You just ride with it.
And it's an easy rewatch.
100%.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You don't have to be a 10 out of 10 just to buy it. There's horror movies that I would give a 5 or 6 and buy it to watch it again and again.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's a good movie.
No, this is definitely a buy at a discount. Would I pay $20 for it? No. Would I pay 10? For sure. And then I'd probably buy the other ones too.
Yeah. Yeah. Which brings me to my score. If you remember liking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, you're probably still going to like it. This is so full of nostalgia. My God. And everything will come back as you're watching it, just comes rushing back. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if kids today would like it or get it. I don't know. But if you're a kid then, you definitely will still like it. Yeah, it's funny. The mom jokes are great.
So good. So good.
And the actors were great. And Bill and Ted were Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. And I was a little disappointed that I obviously was remembering Bogus Journey because I thought George Carlin was in this a bit more. When he was in it, he's fine. He looked cool. It's a fun movie. I would buy it. There is a 2-disc Blu-ray from Shout Factory or
Mhm.
Shout Studios of both movies. And it comes chock full of behind the scenes making ofs. I would buy that. I would not
Okay.
pay $20 for a digital or just a regular
Yeah, no.
DVD. No. Discount, absolutely.
Mhm.
So if it's like a special feature fully loaded Blu-ray or something, I would buy it. I would pay full price. Digitally, I would pay $10. Like you said, I would buy it at
Yeah.
discount. Yeah. Because it is an easy rewatch. Like this is something that even a month from now, if I'm
Oh,
like, you know
yeah.
what? I would just, it's
I would
just one of
totally put it
those.
on. If you're having like a lazy day, this is the perfect lazy day movie.
Yeah.
Just engaging enough. It doesn't make you think too hard. If you're recovering from a hangover, this is the perfect movie.
Or if you want your Sunday to end with a bunch of Dorito dust on your chest, this is the movie to do that with. It's that movie. No, it's fun. I would probably give it a 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a masterpiece or anything like that, but it's a fun movie and it's worth buying at a discount or
Yeah.
if you can get it. Yeah. So obviously we like it. Our
We
streak
do.
has not come to an end.
Our streak continues.
That's not to say every movie we watched thus far has been masterpieces.
No, it
But
just
it just means that either they were really good, pretty good, or you just need to see them. Like I'm thinking like Streets of Fire and Rosemary's Baby off the top of my head. Not my favorite movies, but you should watch them.
100%. Yeah.
And this movie should be in your library if you can find it at a deal.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a solid movie. It's
if you're in
entertaining
Walmart and you
engaging.
see it for like $5.99 or something,
it.
yeah, grab it.
It's a good time and it's filled with nostalgia.
Yeah,
Filled with
so
it.
much. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you'd like to add to Bill and Ted's
Nope.
Excellent Adventure?
I think we covered it all.
All right. Well, we're still on a roll, and yeah. Well, thank you for coming back to 1989. We're still in the 80s. We're going to be in the 80s for a while here, which is fine. I love being in the 80s.
The 80s are great.
Yeah. And until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.